I sold my beloved Yaris that took me on a 20,000-mile journey, and she never let me down because she was a Toyota. But before I did, I got her inspected, and the only issue they found was with one of my tires. When I was in Pismo Beach, California months earlier, I hit a curb as I took a sharp turn. And I was kind of upset at the time because I lost a hubcap, but what I didn't know at the time is that I actually damaged the tire by creating like an aneurysm that could have resulted in a blowout at any time. And I drove thousands and thousands more miles like that. This is footage of the Pacific Coast Highway that I drove on before I got to Pismo Beach. But I did drive on sections of the Pacific Coast Highway after I damaged the tire. And as you can see in the video, sometimes that meant driving on the edge of ocean cliffs with either a tiny guardrail or no guardrail at all. And I could have had a blowout at any time. I also drove 80 miles an hour from Georgia to Pennsylvania on that tire, surrounded by big rigs and lots of traffic, and that tire could have blown at any time. This reinforced what I had already realized. If a nomad dies on the road, it will be in some type of motor vehicle accident, not at the hands of a serial killer or some other criminal walking around. If you watch the same nomads on YouTube that I do, you saw a nomadic fanatic get run off the road by an RV much bigger than his. You've seen Scott and Terry from Destination Open Road get sideswiped in their truck camper by a U-Haul truck, totaling the camper. You heard about Road Warrior, who was killed by a truck while he was on a scooter. RVs might be safer when they're in their large vehicles, but like Road Warrior, they park their big rigs and drive around in a smaller tow vehicle, like motorcycles, bicycles, little geo-trackers like Camper Van Kevin. So the safety of a big vehicle is only part-time for them. The only nomad I've seen on YouTube victimized was Corey the Moody Traveler, who foolishly let people he barely knew party in his RV while he was off surfing or something, and they stole his RV and trashed it. But that was his own poor judgment at fault. I've gotten some comments and questions about safety on the road, mostly from women, and I think that anyone worried about safety should travel in a large vehicle and avoid using a small tow vehicle unless you're driving in a rural area. If you feel the need to get a gun, that's your business. Criminals use the element of surprise, so unless you have your gun drawn and ready all of the time, the criminal has the upper hand anyway. The only unwanted encounters I've had were with the police. If you have a gun in your vehicle while the conceal and carry laws are different in every state and your only encounters are with the police, that could end badly for you. Not just legally, but if your encounter is with a nervous, trigger-happy cop. When I told my mother that I wanted to drive around the country, the first thing she said was, "You're going to need a weapon." And I actually did consider getting at least a BB gun to scare off any potential criminals. But now that I've been on the road for 7 months, that desire to even get a BB gun is gone. Statistics back me up. Look up how many people are killed in a motor vehicle accident versus how many people are killed by a complete stranger. People are texting and driving all over the place. And keep in mind that nomads are always driving on unfamiliar roads, which can lead to mistakes. When I was in Maine, I decided I didn't need my GPS to drive from the laundromat back to the Walmart, and I ended up driving the wrong way down a one-way street. So if safety is your concern, always use your GPS. It knows where the one-way streets are. Drive a big vehicle all of the time. I plan on continuing to stay at Walmarts, but there are a lot of crimes happening in and around certain Walmarts because there's just so much activity there. So you might want to avoid Walmarts for that reason. And just spend more time thinking about driving safely and less time thinking about rapists and serial killers. My next video will be about the 7 police encounters I had on the road. At my first 3 encounters, I was interrogated for 15 minutes each time. And my last encounter lasted only 15 seconds because I learned along the way what to say to the police to make them go away.